Well, I want to do a little retraction on Trump because I figured this guy was going to do a third party, but you know what? The crap that's coming up right now, even if this guy ran on a third party, I'd vote for him. But the one thing that has been consistent with Trump all the years, which I did find something that was common ground, is America first. Which means he's at odds with the globalist. He's like, let's put America, it's like he's saying, let's make America great again and all this. I know that's a political freaking, it's a phrase, And oh yeah, don't mind this flag. I like putting a Confederate flag up there, but I know some people see the red, white, and blue Confederate flag. They don't like it, so this is like a Confederate flag with a Malcolm X, hybrid. We'll call it that, so people don't get all pissed off. I like putting a Confederate flag up because I think of rebelling against the bullshit, right? Not this racism stuff and all that. And I'll get onto that stuff later about Hillary and racism. But first with Trump, what really threw me over now recently was when Romney gets out and McCain gets out and attacks this guy. He says, Romney, last election 2012, I didn't vote. Now, normally, I never vote for a Democrat. Now, if JFK was running, yeah, I'd vote for him. Or if Jim Webb, the Vietnam veteran, highly decorated Vietnam veteran, former senator from Virginia, he was in a campaign on the Democratic side, I'd switch Democrat in a second for that guy. But, be that as it may, they got Hillary, right? But, I never really vote for a Democrat, but I don't necessarily vote for Republican a lot of times. A lot of times I vote Libertarian. And last time in 2012, I voted for Gary Johnson. Now, this guy, John McAfee, who might be on the Libertarian Party, he'd be good, but I'm not going to vote for him because I don't want to waste my vote. I'll go with Trump. Because, at first I was thinking Cruz is the guy, at least I know where he stood on the issues. I know Trump has been all over the place with the issues, but there has been one common ground thing. He goes America first. And that's a biggie. As long as you're putting America first, that's like, he's a problem for the globalists. And he is kind of liberal. So, some people get all bent out of shape about this guy, like, saying, he is pretty liberal, man. So, he's got a lot of elements that people could like with him. I know when he's talking about the wall with Mexico, it's like so stupid. Because actually, when you got the bad guy Mexican guys, not the ones that are coming over for doing farm work, the bad guys are going through tunnels. So a wall ain't gonna do no good anyway. Let's do more tunnels. Actually, that's really the whole point of the whole damn issue anyway. It's stopping the bad guys, not stopping immigration. Well, you know what I mean. It's overdone. There's too many immigrants coming from everywhere, all over the place. Overwhelmed with immigrants. But anyway, that's that thing. That's just a campaign BS slogan. It's like I don't know if he's actually going to do that. But he is going to do is I think America first. He's been consistent on that all the while. Now the thing is, I always wondered was how come he was telling Bill Clinton he was the greatest president that ever was in the last 100 years, and that still makes me not trust the guy, okay? But, he could have been just blowing smoke up his wazoo, well, you're going to get mad at me for saying this, but Trump is a bullshit artist, okay? When they're up in that league, they played a game with everybody, but I guess the insincerity was maybe with the Clintons. I don't know. Who knows? Maybe that's what it was. So maybe, but when I'm looking at Mitt Romney coming out against Trump, I was like, get the hell out of here, man. This is getting really obvious now. The Republican establishment, because Mitt Romney's all hooked in with the dirty Bush deals, dirty George Bush and, all the stuff that happened. There's a lot of stuff. I don't want to get into that. So you can look it up on YouTube. There's a lot of connections where Mitt Romney got his wealth with stuff that was connected with the Bush family. And McCain, I know he was a former POW, but I can tell you one thing. I read way back when, particularly from the former POW Michael Bench, that really told the story on what McCain was doing with the POW investigations. He was basically clearing the way so the big business can get to Vietnam because they wanted to normalize relations with Vietnam. McCain's, he's an establishment money asshole all the way. So when he's coming out against Trump, I'm like, yeah, something bullshit right here, man. But, you know, I'm going to tell you one thing. Trump, you know, they're accusing Trump of being part of the racism and stuff. I don't believe that shit at all. You know, the one I can tell you right now that I think is really racist is the Clintons, both of them. And Hillary actually made a lot of statements in the past that were very racist. And she's like just, well, she's playing the blacks like a bunch of freaking idiots, man. And I can't fucking believe that they're buying into it. Well, a lot of them aren't buying into it. That's good. But, you know, if Hillary Clinton had a a father from Kenya, they would buy into it if she was half black. That's the problem. So Obama's a sellout, too. You know? And actually, when you're looking at the issue of slavery that happened in, you know, the 1800s, or the mid-1800s and early 1800s, you know, you got to really think that everybody who had money that was in that area, they would want a slave. There's no doubt about it. You know, that's the reality situation. Actually, today, if you were allowed to have a slave and you said, I want to go out there and pick the best, you know, female with the nicest boobs and ass, you'd buy one right now. I guarantee you, most guys would, if you had the money. You know, if I was in the South in the Confederacy way back then, that's probably what I would have done. But I probably would have took care of her better than my cats. So, you know, that's what I would have done. So, I don't know. And, you know, but, you know, these guys, like with Hillary, she's actually going to destroy the economy all the way. Trump, I don't know what the hell he could do for the economy, to tell you the truth, man. I think if this guy gets in, they're going to pull a rug out from underneath the economy just to make him look bad. So it's like, no matter who the hell wins, we're screwed. You know? I'll tell you that right now. But I think Trump is basically legit. But, you know, the people that are actually behind Trump, they don't want to, you know, I realize with people that have, well, not exactly his money, like maybe $100 million or something. He's got billions. I don't know. I really, you know, I obliquely know about people with billions that I, you know, did forums for and stuff, you know, and all that kind of crap. But I've not really dealt with anybody on one-to-one with his kind of money. But I do know that people with a lot of money are, they're like chameleons, man. So Trump, you know, he'll tell you what you want to hear, too. So, I mean, don't expect the world from him. He's not perfect, okay? But, you know, the obvious thing is, he's the only guy out there that's got the power that will put America first. And that's a biggie, because America's unique, because we got this thing called not just the Constitution, but the Bill of Rights. You know, the Constitution is separation of powers of government, but also the Bill of Rights is really the big thing in the Constitution. That's the most important thing. That protects individual rights. It's embodied in the law of the land. You know, you don't want a governing body, a global governing body, taking that away. Because there will be freaking real slavery back then. We'll have real slavery. See, that was one of the things, actually, when they had slavery in the 1800s. You know, it didn't... Well, what they had to do was they had to rule that black people weren't people. That's what they had to rule. They had to rule that black people weren't people, so therefore it didn't violate the Constitution. Which, that's a bullshit argument, too. You know what I mean? That's like, how the hell can you rule that? But that's what they did, right? But that was a problem. Well, actually, that's what led to the whole freaking war between the states. You know, God intervened, actually, what happened there. God intervened. But, well, maybe, you know, no matter what happens, God's going to intervene eventually. So, but the people that are getting led astray in different ways, one is, I know there's all these different interests in this country. You know, we want this, we want that, we got to worry about this and all this. But, you know, really when it comes down to it, it should be the interest of the individual, and that's the most important thing. And the thing that protects the individual, because everybody's unique, you know, it's bullshit when you got groups. You know, you got like the age group, the black group, the woman group, the, you know, immigrant group, you know, they could be various countries. The education group, you know, the blue collar versus the white collar worker. And, you know, there's all this overlap with people because they always try to play this game where they set up groups against each other. But really, It's the individual. The individual, everybody's unique, man. So, you know, it's like, you know, it's just how it is. And the only thing that protects uniqueness in the individual is the Constitution of the United States, particularly the Bill of Rights. And there's nothing else in the world like it. So when America, when it's not just a matter of being nationalistic, Trump is actually, when he's being nationalistic, he's protecting that Bill of Rights. And yeah, I do like this flag. You know I put up the the alternate version of the Confederate flag could be like a hybrid of Malcolm X or something, because people get pissed off when they see a, you know, it's like Pavlov's dog, you know, they freaking conditioned to see, I see a red, white, and blue flag with 13 stars and an X on it, we cross the St. Andrew, and that means hate. No, I don't mean that, you know. But, you know, people have been conditioned to think that way, so kind of put a different one up there like that, so for this video. But, kind of like that because it's, I kind of like the Confederate thing because right now it's so unpopular. I take up for it. I take up for anything that's unpopular, pretty much, as long as it's something that has a right. There's something about it that's correct. You know, that's right. You know, anti-taxation was one, right? States' rights was another. But you know, someday, if the globalists do win, the American flag is going to be considered a symbol of hate by them. Just remember that. I'll leave you with that thought, and you know, I just want to say that, you know, I'm not a very trusting person on a lot of shit, and I know when I examine what Trump said in the past and what he's saying now, it's like he is kind of all over the place, to be honest. I don't think he's got enough now, though. I don't think he's going to run a third party, and if they screw him out of this Republican convention, I'm not going to vote for a Republican no matter what if he runs on a third party anyway. I don't give a shit, even if that means Hillary gets in. Because, you know, her health is so bad with the stresses of the office and all the bullshit, all the population's going to give her. She could probably get a croak in 6 months anyway, due to all the freaking pressures, you know. So, you know, whatever, I don't give a shit. Maybe she can make Trump her vice president. That'd be pretty smart. I mean, he got number two. Say, for instance, it's Trump versus Hillary, and Trump loses. Well, why not make Trump the vice president? Right? I think that would be good. I think that, is that constitutional? I don't know. Well, you know, the way they're freaking playing around with this Constitution as a living document, why not? Right? Right? Anyway. I want to be Secretary of the Interior of Cats. So that's what I want to do. So, anyway. I've been doing a lot of cat videos on this channel. So what the fuck I'm doing with those things? You know, that's my fire team out here. You know, I got Putin, Rocky, Goldie, and Boots. He's out there in recon missions all the time. That's the fire team. Four of them, man. So, anyway, stay chill. Trump's got my vote now because, I don't know, Cruz turned... You know, after watching Cruz a bunch of times, I'm like... Ugh. You know, the only thing I didn't like about Trump is, like, I didn't see him actually vote on something, you know? Like, I don't really know what he stands for. I know what he says he stands for now. I know what he stood for before. But he has been consistent. I'll just tell you again, he has been consistent on the America First issue. And that's a biggie. That's a biggie. So, you know, but don't, you know, I mean, the people that right now think he's going to save the world, he's not perfect, but he's the best option right now. That's the way I look at it.